What if the secret of moving easier was already in your kitchen and your pantry? We are breaking down 5 powerful spices that don't just add flavor in your food, but they work to shut down the inflammation causing your joint pain in rheumatoid arthritis. Hello, all of you rheumatoid arthritis warrior. This is Dr. Ananta Subedi, your rheumatoid arthritis coach at the Room Doc, as well as a practicing rheumatologist here at Empower Arthritis and Rheumatology Center. Today, I'll go over 5 important spices that you can find in your kitchen that will help fight against rheumatoid arthritis. Before I go deeper, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get these content in the future. Also, share this information to your loved one who might be confused regarding what to do with rheumatoid arthritis. And also help us support in our mission for this 2026. We want to touch at least 100,000 rheumatoid arthritis warriors who are suffering in pain and confusion. So you can help by liking and subscribing to our content. And don't also forget to accept our gift. There are 2 gifts we have created for you. One is your free book, the Holistic Rheumatoid Arthritis Guidebook, as well as an anti-inflammatory smoothie that you can prepare in the morning to fight against rheumatoid arthritis and inflammation. As you already know, as many of you are already aware, rheumatoid arthritis is a systemic autoimmune and inflammatory condition. And when we talk about inflammation, it's your immune system that is causing those problems. Your confused immune system goes attack your joints. So your confused immune system is activated and then go attack your lining of your joint, and that is a primary problem. And many of you are prescribed medication to control inflammation, but many of the time the medication may not be effective enough, or some of you might have problem tolerating the medication. Hence, we need to understand more about what are the other natural way without adding medication that we can manage your rheumatoid arthritis better. And there comes our spices. So in the today's video, I'll give you 5 spices that are already available in your kitchen that you can use daily to control your inflammation naturally. But be aware, these spices in itself may not fix everything, but they work as complement to your medical treatment. So always consult with your doctors before making any major changes with your medication or even before adding these spices. Most of them are reasonably safe, but it's always good to check with your doctor before adding anything new so that they don't interact with your other medications. Now, here's the agenda for today. And I'll be breaking down this video into 2 parts. In the first part, we'll talk about 2 spices, the turmeric and ginger. And in the subsequent video in the next week, we'll talk about the remaining 3. And I'll also go over some of the general tips on how you use those spices. So as I mentioned earlier, the spices are complementary to your treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. So don't think these spices as a substitute for your medical treatment. Your rheumatologist still need to prescribe you medication. You still need to do some other lifestyle changes, but these spices complement your rheumatoid arthritis treatment. So please use them as a complementary tools in your toolbox to manage rheumatoid arthritis rather than substituting that with medication. Now, when we talk about inflammation, the spices in general help reduce inflammation and even pain. So they are natural anti-inflammatory. Many of the spices that we talk today, they contain anti-inflammatory compounds. And these anti-inflammatory compounds help decrease inflammation and even decrease your pain. And research has also shown that some of these spices also help you manage your rheumatoid arthritis symptoms, particularly joint stiffness and pain. Now, there is one caveat. Doing research in these spices is challenging. So that's why we don't have a lot of research in these spices. There are some limited data suggesting and supporting that these spices do have good anti-inflammatory role in managing rheumatoid arthritis. But we need to understand the limitation of these research. Some of this research may not be big, like medication research, and some of them may not show a robust improvement in the symptoms. But if we use in combination, they have been found to be effective in managing your rheumatoid arthritis. Now, many of you might be looking for some natural alternative. And I understand many of my patients do ask that question. Can I manage my rheumatoid arthritis naturally? And I usually tell them we can, but we have to be holistic. we don't need to be in the extreme, the two extreme. One is don't take any medications, and the other extreme is just take your medications and you will be fine. That's why I want to break that problem. I want to find a holistic way of managing your rheumatoid arthritis. We can bring the good of both ends. Some natural supplements, natural spices like we'll be talking today, as well as some of the allopathic medication, but using them safely and monitoring them closely so that we can minimize the side effect that comes with those medications. Hence, let's learn a holistic way of managing you. At the end of the day, our goal is to make you feel better without causing side effect of the medication and also using natural ways of managing inflammation. And the spices come handy as a natural way of managing your rheumatoid arthritis. Now, many of you might have heard turmeric. So this is one of the commonly used supplement in managing rheumatoid arthritis related inflammation. Now, I'll briefly talk about what are the benefits and how can we safely use turmeric as an anti-inflammatory. Now, the first question we need to understand is how turmeric helps rheumatoid arthritis and inflammation. So, turmeric has a natural compound called curcumin. So, curcumin is a natural anti-inflammatory. Hence, it helps reduce inflammation, reduce your joint pain, and even stiffness. Many of you rheumatoid arthritis warrior, when you wake up in the morning, you have this significant stiffness in your hand. And you also get a lot of symptoms in the early morning. So turmeric could help you minimize those symptoms, such as joint pain and stiffness. Now, turmeric comes in different forms. Many of you who are listening to this video from South Asian country, you might be consuming turmeric in your spices. So you may not need to add extra. But some of you who may not be using turmeric in your spices, you can find turmeric over the counter as a supplement. And there's a lot of variation on how much you need to take, but typically the recommended dose of turmeric is around 500 milligram up to 1000 milligram. But the important thing is make sure you look at the label on how much it is and also make sure it's a good quality turmeric. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can find turmeric in different ways, and one of them being in the food. So in our culture, in Nepalese culture, or even some of the other Indo-Nepalese culture, we add turmeric in almost everything we eat. So that's why our food is already containing enough amount of turmeric. So you may not need extra supplements. But if you want to add more supplement, you can find the curcumin capsules. And one other interesting fact is there is a lot of variation on how much turmeric you get absorbed. Even though you might be consuming a lot, but you may not be absorbing everything. So be careful on how much you are taking and how much it is absorbed into your body. And one interesting fact is if you take your turmeric or curcumin supplements with pepper extract, that can help improving your absorption of turmeric. So you can combine them together, pepper with turmeric. Even some of the commercially available supplements of turmeric also contain pepper added on it so that it helps absorb into your body better. Now, here are some of the tips on how you can effectively take turmeric. And one of the being is the timing. When should you take your turmeric? Now, if you are taking with meal, typically that helps in the absorption of turmeric. And sometimes, rarely, some of you might experience stomach discomfort, causing pain in your tummy. So if you take it with meal, it can help minimize those type of side effects. And taking with meal and also consuming healthy fat, particularly polyunsaturated fatty acid, as well as black pepper can help improve the bioavailability. This basically means it can increase the absorption of turmeric. So use it with meal and use it with more fatty food so that it can be absorbed better into your body. Now, one of the other important factor that we need to put into place is understanding the drug interaction. So along with turmeric, you might be taking other medication for other medical conditions. So that's why I told you in the beginning, always ask your doctor, your primary care doctor or your rheumatologist who can help you whether you might be having interaction with other medication along with the turmeric supplements. In particular, there are two things we need to monitor. One is your liver and the other one is a bleeding risk. Now, turmeric as well as some of the rheumatoid arthritis medication like methotrexate, they are typically metabolized by your liver. So if you are taking turmeric along with your methotrexate, it can cause some liver marker elevation. Now, this is not a very common risk, but it's possible risk. That's why if you're taking turmeric with your methotrexate, make sure your rheumatologist or your primary care doctor is closely monitoring your liver markers, particularly in the beginning or when you change your medication dose, particularly change in the dose of the turmeric or change in the dose of methotrexate. Anyway, your rheumatologist always monitor your liver marker. So just keep them aware that you are also taking turmeric supplements so that we can be more vigilant on any liver related issues. But this risk is very minimal. It's not very common. And the next one, the second one being increased risk of bleeding. So turmeric, when taken with other blood thinner such as warfarin or coumadin and aspirin, can increase your risk of bleeding. So let your doctor know that you are taking turmeric supplement if you are taking coumadin or aspirin so that we can minimize the bleeding risk. But if you closely monitor, then we can adjust the dose of the turmeric so that you don't have that side effects. But keep your doctor aware of these interactions. Now, all of you rheumatoid arthritis warrior, hopefully the first spice that we talk about, turmeric, help you understand more about how can you effectively use turmeric as a natural way of managing your rheumatoid arthritis. If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel and also help in our mission of serving at least more than 100,000 RA warriors throughout the globe so that you are more aware and informed about your health and you have all the options you can use to help you feel better. So please help us by subscribing and liking our videos. And also don't forget to accept our gift, those two gifts that I mentioned earlier, a free copy of the book, the Holistic Rheumatoid Arthritis Guidebook, and also an anti-inflammatory smoothie, which you can find in the description below. Now, the next spice that we'll be talking about is ginger. So we'll talk about what are the benefits and how can we safely use ginger. Now, the first question let's understand is how ginger helps and what are the recommended dose of ginger. Now, ginger, like turmeric, is also a natural anti-inflammatory. But one interesting fact is it's also a natural analgesic too, which means it can also decrease your pain, particularly when you're having a lot of pain or if you're having a flare. So ginger could be a good tool to manage your flares. So ginger helps reduce joint pain, swelling, and ease your morning stiffness effectively. The typical dose of ginger that you can take is up to 1 to 2 grams of ginger powder, or you can take 2 to 4 grams of freshly prepared ginger roots. So you can find those in the market. Now, there are different ways you can get ginger into your diet, and one of the most common being in our food. As I mentioned earlier, in our Indo-Nepalese culture, we typically add a lot of ginger in our food. So unknowingly, we are adding that anti-inflammatory spice into our food. Now, there are other ways, such as you can also add those in your smoothie. You can add few pieces of ginger, the freshly cut ginger, and you can add in your smoothie. You can even make ginger tea, and sometimes the ginger can also be crystallized, and pickled ginger are also a good alternative. And the pickled ginger can also contain a lot of microbiome, those good bacteria that are typically present in fermented ginger. So it's you can get two things at the same time: good bacteria to help maintain your gut, as well as anti-inflammatory ginger. Now, if you are not adding ginger into your food, then you can also find some ginger supplements. And they are typically available as an extract or pills. So you can explore in your local store where you can find those ginger supplements. Now, here are some of the tips that you can use to help optimally use your ginger. Like turmeric, sometimes ginger can upset your stomach. So taking with meal might help you tolerate this supplement better. As I mentioned earlier, there are different ways you can consume. Either you can do a tea, you can add in your food, or you can find as a supplement capsule that you can get over the counter most of the time. Now, there are some possible side effects that we need to watch out, particularly the stomach-related problem. So you might get some stomach upset when you take ginger. So taking with meal might decrease that side effect risk with ginger. Now, with any other supplement, let's also understand what are the interaction with your other medication. So like we talked earlier with turmeric, ginger can also interact with some of the blood thinner. So it might increase the risk of bleeding. So check with your doctor, making sure that they are not interacting with your other medication like the blood thinners. And if you are taking both together, always watch out for unusual bleeding, such as bleeding in your mouth, bleeding in your skin. If you have those, alert your doctor and stop taking your supplement and then consult with your doctors. Now, sometimes ginger can also interact with your pain medication, such as ibuprofen or naproxen, because both are anti-inflammatory. Both can upset your stomach. So, one of the better way of taking them is don't take both of them together. So, space them out by a couple of hours so that you can tolerate both of those medications. And if you are taking blood thinner like Coumadin, it's better to avoid taking ginger, or ask your primary care doctor whether it is safe for you to take ginger along with your blood thinner or not. Thank you so much, all of you rheumatoid arthritis warriors. So we talk about 2 spices that you can add in your food, and we talk about turmeric and then the ginger. In the next video, we'll talk about 3 other remaining spices that include cinnamon, saffron, and garlic. So I'll go over those detail about those 3 spices in our next video. And please join us. And before I conclude, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking our videos and putting a comment. So let us know what type of content you want to hear from us so that we can help you learn more about the effective way of managing rheumatoid arthritis. And before I depart, let me also give you some gift. And this is the recipe I call a golden ginger soother. And particularly when you're having an RA flare, you can use this technique to help you manage your RA flare effectively without adding more medication like steroid or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. So the recipe will be in the description below. So don't forget to get that recipe so that you can learn more about how do you make this soother drink for managing your rheumatoid arthritis flare. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.